In this video, I'm going to show you some smartphone filmmaking tricks that you can do with your gimbal that will instantly level up your results and make your footage look much more cinematic. I am in the incredible city of Amsterdam today, where the goal is to capture enough shots to create a short cinematic sequence with music, color grading, and sound effects that I'll show you at the end of this video. A big thanks to HOM for sponsoring this video. Now come with me, let's explore the city, I'll capture some shots, and I'll show you the results. Okay, let's talk about cinematic variation. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see beginners make is just filming one type of shot at each location, a push forward, for example. But capturing the same subject in different ways instantly makes your edits feel more cinematic and engaging. Take this shopping mall here in Amsterdam, for example. We could do a simple push forward towards the building. It's okay. But now let's do that same push forward, but with a tram passing in front. Suddenly, the scene feels alive, dynamic, plus the tram helps reveal the building. Or how about we try a slider reveal from behind the street sign? Adding foreground to this shot helps add depth. We could go a bit more face on and symmetrical and push forward with a tram passing. Or how about a push forward with a tilt up? This shows the scale of the building and gives a sense of grandeur. And whilst we're at it, why not grab a tight shot of the sign? Focusing on details breaks up the wider shots and keeps things interesting. All of these shots focus on the same focal point, but each feels completely different. By mixing angles, movements, and framing, you give yourself freedom in the edit, make the story more engaging, and instantly add a cinematic feel. Okay, capture bad shots. But what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is don't think about each shot as an individual standalone clip. Think about that shot in a sequence edited with other shots. For example, take this shot here of the sign on this tram. It's really not great, very messy, dare I say it, this is a bad shot. Or this shot here, pushing low to the ground towards the tram's wheels. This flag even, not particularly exciting. I certainly wouldn't be sharing any of these as individual clips on social media, but always think about the story and what comes next. Think about what these shots will look like once you've added music and sound effects. Knowledge is power. If you don't know what your equipment is capable of, you're just not going to get the best results. Take my setup today, for example. I've got the iPhone 15 paired with the iSteady V3 Ultra, a great compact setup perfect for run and gun videos. But if you don't know how to use it, your shots just won't look as good. For example, this is my first time using this gimbal. So before today's shoot, I researched its features so that I could maximize my results. I didn't realize until this morning that this gimbal can take a 400-gram payload, which is way more than what I was expecting from a gimbal that fits in your pocket. This means it will not only take the weight of my phone and an ND filter, but also a portable hard drive like this one here, meaning I can now shoot in ProRes RAW if needed and save all of my videos and large files to an external SSD without using up the storage on my phone. This gimbal also has a rotation preset, meaning at the tap of a button, the gimbal will automatically rotate the phone and capture creative shots that look like this. Now, when we link two shots like this together and add a speed ramp with some sound effects, we now get this. Minor tweaks make a huge difference. But what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that just waiting a few extra seconds or making a slight adjustment to your shot can massively increase its production value. Take this shot here, for example, rising up to reveal the canal. It's not bad, but if we just wait 30 seconds for a boat and capture that exact same shot again, we now have much more interest and movement in this shot. A minor tweak that makes a huge difference. This slider shot of the canal, average at best, not much sense of movement or depth. But if we simply lower the camera a little bit and include these pink flowers, we now get a much more interesting shot. Or this shot here pulling back and rotating through these colorful flowers. This isn't a bad shot, definitely usable, but now let's wait for a boat to pass and capture the exact same shot again. Much better. Another minor tweak that adds a lot more production value to this shot. Minimal added effort, maximum results. AI tracking. Now, if you're someone that shoots solo, then having a gimbal with AI tracking is an absolute must. The V3 Ultra comes with a detachable AI tracker, which has incredibly accurate tracking capabilities that you usually only find in a more expensive gimbal. So if I simply give it the OK sign, the gimbal will lock onto me and track me wherever I go. This is perfect if you need to capture a shot of yourself walking through your location when you don't have anyone to help. Also, you don't need a specific app to activate the tracking like what you do with other gimbals. This will work with your phone's built-in camera app or a third-party app like the Blackmagic app, where you can manually dial in all of your camera settings for a much more professional look. The V3 Ultra also has an LCD monitor and detachable remote. Very unique. Again, not something that you typically get with a gimbal of this size, making it incredibly useful for solo shooting because you can now control the gimbal from further away as well as check your framing and composition. But how else can we use a gimbal to help make our videos stand out? Well, let's talk about shooting in slow motion. Now, one way you can make your shots look much more interesting is to shoot in slow motion. Slowing your footage down allows your audience to see the world in a way it isn't usually seen. For the best results, look for fast-moving objects like these pigeons, for example. Also, let's start combining techniques. Let's not only shoot in slow motion, but let's add cinematic variation, just like what we talked about. I'm going to use the built-in extension pole to help get shots lower to the ground. This will give our footage a whole new perspective. As well as this, I'm also going to capture wide shots pushing forward, orbit shots to make the background spin, and how about some long shots that I can add a speed ramp to in the edit to really help grab people's attention. So slow motion on its own already makes your footage look cooler, but when you start stacking these techniques together, like combining it with low angles, wide push forwards, or orbit shots, that's when your shots really stand out. And don't forget, speed ramping in the edit is the cherry on top. It keeps your audience hooked and makes even simple moments look cinematic. Shoot with intent. Now, instead of just randomly filming everything you see, think about what you're going to do with these shots in the edit. For example, let's capture some shots where something passes through the frame. Why? Because we can use these as wipe transitions in the edit. We're pre-planning the edit here. We're shooting with intent. As a standalone clip, it's not great, but when we creatively use it as a wipe transition, we get much better results. Think outside the box when it comes to capturing your footage. This gimbal, for example, has a panning time-lapse feature. So if I perch it somewhere busy, set it to pan from left to right slowly over the course of 2 minutes, we get a panning time-lapse of our location that really helps add more variety and interest to our final sequence. Or how about these shots of passing trams? As a standalone clip, these really aren't very good. A throwaway shot at best. But if we use these as transitions to take us from one shot to another, all of a sudden we have a custom transition helping our edits feel exciting and unique. Also, if you're into smartphone filmmaking and you want to fast track your results, then be sure to check out my 2-hour mini masterclass where I walk you through everything really simple, step by step. I show you not only how to shoot your footage, but then also how to edit all of those shots into a cinematic sequence using music, color grading, and sound effects. I will link that below. Focal lengths. Okay, another great way to get variety with our smartphone gimbal is by switching up our focal lengths. Now, most modern smartphones give you 3 main options: ultra wide, standard, and telephoto. Let's use a simple push forward, for example. Here is an ultra wide shot pushing forward down this street. Now, notice the motion feels amplified. The walls and pavement are stretched. This is perfect when you want to add a bit more energy and movement to your shots. Now, here is that same push forward, but now using the standard lens. It feels more natural, like how our eyes would ordinarily see it. The movement is still smooth, but the world isn't quite as exaggerated. And finally, the telephoto lens. Same move again, but look how the background compresses. The buildings look closer together and the camera movement feels more subtle. So, same move, same gimbal, but the lens you pick totally changes how the scene feels. So that is how you capture your shots. But what would all these shots look like edited into a sequence with music, color grading, and sound effects? Let's take a look. So as you can see, as soon as you edit all of these shots into a sequence with music, color grading and sound effects, they really come to life. Now, hopefully you now know how to capture much more professional looking shots using your gimbal. But remember, this is just half the battle. You still need to edit these shots. If you'd like some tips on editing, I'm trying to do an outro here, guys. If you'd like some tips on editing, then be sure to check out this video here, where I'll show you exactly how. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.